Hello and welcome to today's video tutorial. In my previous videos, I have discussed about what is a photosynthesis, what are the processes or what are the steps of a photosynthesis, what are the pigments that are involved in photosynthesis, the sites of photosynthesis, etc. So today we will discuss about the pigments that are involved in photosynthesis. Okay, so pigments play a very important role in photosynthesis. These are the reasons which makes the plant so much unique to carry out their food processing, or this is the reason why the plants can make their own food. Okay, so they play a very important role in absorbing the solar radiation. If we talk about pigments, there are three main pigments that can be seen or that are involved in this process. Okay, so there are three main group of pigments. The first and the very most important is chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is a green colored pigment and is present in almost all the photosynthetically active or all the photosynthetic organisms. Okay, it is present in all green plants and all the organisms that produce their food by photosynthesis. The chlorophyll pigment can be of 7 types, namely chlorophyll A, B, C, D, E and bacteriochlorophyll and bacterioviridin. The bacteriochlorophyll and bacterioviridin is present only in photosynthetically active bacteria. Okay. Next, the chlorophyll is present in the reaction center. Okay, the reaction center of in case of the light reaction contains chlorophyll A molecule. Okay, so next we will look into some of the features of the chlorophyll pigment. Chlorophyll pigment is lipid soluble. If we look into the structure of a chlorophyll, it contains a central magnesium atom. This is very important for question point of view because these questions are quite common. Also, a chlorophyll pigment or a chlorophyll molecule will contain a pyrrole, or we can say a tetrapyrrole head and a phytol tail. Okay, so a chlorophyll molecule is made up of a pyrrole or a tetrapyrrole head and a phytol tail. Also, it contains a central magnesium atom. Next, besides chlorophyll, which forms the central or a very most important part of the pigment system, apart from this, there are two other pigments or two accessory pigments, namely carotenoids and Fico Billions. These two pigments are also known as the accessory pigments because these two pigments absorb the solar energy, or it absorbs the light energy where the chlorophyll pigment does not absorb strongly. Okay, these two pigments mainly absorb the solar energy in a range of about 400 to 500 nanometer. Now let us look into each of these pigments separately. Beside chlorophyll, there are two other pigments which we term it as the accessory pigments. Okay, the two pigments are carotenoids and Fico Billions. Now what these two pigments does is that they absorb the energy at that spectrum or at that range where the chlorophyll does not absorb strongly. So these two pigments, they absorb the solar energy and transfer it to the chlorophyll A molecules that are present in the reaction center. Okay. Now let us look into the feature of carotenoids. The carotenoids are mainly divided into two types, that is carotene and xanthophyll. The carotenoids are somewhat brownish red colored pigment. Okay, the carotenoids and xanthophylls, both of them are lipid soluble The general formula of carotene is C40H56 and that of xanthophyll is C40H56O. So, we can see that the xanthophyll is an oxygen derivative of carotenes. Okay. The most important or a very common carotene is beta carotene. The beta carotene plays a very important role in the body of an animal or human because this beta carotene is the precursor of vitamin A molecule, which is then utilized by our body. Okay. Apart from absorbing energy and passing it to the chlorophyll molecules, this carotenoids molecule also help in photoprotection, that is, they also help in photoprotection from oxidative damage. Sometimes due to very high energy, the plant cells are very prone to damage. So, what this carotenoids does is that they act as the energy scavenger or energy quencher, and they kill the or they damage this high energy. They are also known as high energy quencher and scavenger, and thus they protect the plant cells from further damage. Next to carotenoids are the Fico Billions. The Fico Billions are a common pigment in case of red and blue-green algae. The Fico Billions are further of three types. First, phycocyanin, which is predominantly found in blue-green algae. Phycoerythrin, which is predominantly found in the red algae, and allophycocyanin. So, these three are the main pigments or the main photosynthetic pigments that are found in the green plants. Next, if we come to the location or the site where these pigments are actually present. Site of the pigments. Now let us look into the site or the location of these pigments. In case of oxygenic photosynthetic organism, these pigments are found in the thylakoid membrane. By oxygenic organisms, we mean those organisms which liberate or produce oxygen at the end of photosynthesis. In case of anoxygenic photosynthetic organisms, these pigments are found in certain vesicle-like structure which we called as chlorosomes, okay, and in case of some purple sulfur bacteria, these organisms or these pigments are found in the invaginations of plasma membrane that we called as chromatophores. Okay. So, these three are the different locations according to the type of organism which is performing the photosynthesis. Now, we will look into another concept of photosynthetic unit. Next, with due course of inventions and experiments that were going on, two scientists named Emerson and Arnold in the year 1938 put forwarded a concept of photosynthetic unit. Based on some of the experiments that they performed, they found that the chlorophyll molecules which were involved in in the absorption of light energy, a large number of chlorophyll molecules actually cooperated and absorbed the energy. Okay. Large number of chlorophyll molecules actually cooperated to absorb the light energy. They found that about 200 to 300 molecules of chlorophyll were actually involved in absorbing the photons or the energy packets that runs the light reaction. Okay. In photosynthetic units, it mainly consists of the chlorophyll molecules. We also term it as the light harvesting complex. These molecules absorb the energy and pass it on to the reaction center of the light reaction, which then carry out the light reaction to evolve oxygen as its end product. Okay. So, in this video, we have got an idea about what are the different pigments that are involved in photosynthesis, what are the sites or the location where these pigments are present, and what is a photosynthetic unit. Okay. I hope this video was helpful for you. Thank you.